It has been about 6 months since I posted a brewing video, but I haven't stopped brewing. In fact, far from it. But I'm putting a new video together, and this time I am brewing a beer that I just want to drink. And that all starts now. Welcome to Big Monster Brewing, the Anvil Foundry Brewing Edition. I am Matt, and let me start off by explaining what I mean by a beer I just want to drink. Since my last set of videos, the Central Florida home brewing competition circuit has returned. It's been a really busy season, and to not only maximize the amount of entries I could enter, I also want to maximize the, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess chances. I wanted to make a, let's say, here's a better way to explain this. Let's say there was a 3 limit entry cap on that competition. I would brew 6 1-gallon batches and pick the best 3, maximizing my chances all around, having the 3 entry limit plus the 3 best of the 6 as some arbitrary numbers to enter. Along with that, my wife has started brewing since my last set of videos, and I've been helping her out a lot as well. We have brewed a lot of beer in the past 6 months, and to give you an idea of how much we've done, here's a quick list of what we've been up to in the past 6 months. So we have been pretty busy these past 6 months. In fact, we've been pretty lucky and pretty fortunate as well. This has been my most successful competition season yet. I don't know what I'm doing or what kind of fate is smiling on me, but I have won 14 medals this year. I think 4 of them outside the competition circuit, the rest within circuit. My wife has brought home 4 medals, and she has only been brewing a half a year so far. And we still have 2 competitions in our local area circuit to go, so we are still very busy. But to take a little break from that busy schedule, I am taking a weekend to brew a beer that I just want to drink. It's going to feature 2 significant ingredients in this beer that I've been wanting to find out what they add to a beer for quite a long time now. This beer is going to be an IPA. It's a style I like, and the 2 ingredients that I want to find out what they bring to a beer are the hops and the yeast. So this is a perfect style to definitely showcase the hops, and for this particular yeast to showcase that as well. So let's get right into it. Let's start talking about the recipe, starting with the grist. This is a very simple grain bill, starting with 6 pounds of 2-row pale malt, then adding 6 ounces of 15L caramel malt, and then 2 ounces of carapils, and that is it. I'm making a 2.5-gallon batch on the 6.5-gallon Anvil Foundry, and I start by bringing 3.5 gallons of water up to 152 degrees, my target strike temperature, and then I get that water recirculating while it heats up. While that heats up, I mill the grains that I just measured out, and once that temperature reaches 152, I mash in. I am recirculating for this entire 50-minute mash, and while I wait, I get a couple things ready that I'm going to need once that's done, starting with heating up a gallon of water to 170 degrees. Now I'm going to get my hop additions ready, and while this is going to showcase one particular hop, I am adding just a touch of a bittering hop at the very beginning of the boil. I like to have a little bitter bite on my IPAs and my pale ales as well. And one of my go-to, probably more than 75% of the time, is Magnum hops. So I'm going to start with a 1/4 ounce of Magnum hops at that 60-minute boil mark. Now about those featured hops that I've mentioned more than once in this video. I am going to try out an experimental hop from Yakima Valley Hops, currently named HBC-586. It sounds incredibly interesting and right up my alley for what I like in an IPA. In fact, it's so interesting I had to write down the notes to remember exactly what they should be bringing to the beer. It's very citrus and sweet, fruit forward according to their notes, with a little bit of a accompanying herbal and spicy background flavor. I've not tried this hop in anything at all, so it's going to be concentrated into my flavor aroma and dry hop additions to really get an idea of how this hop tastes in a beer. And those additions are going to be 1 full ounce at the 10-minute mark, another full ounce at the 1-minute mark, and then a few days into fermentation, I'm going to put in another full ounce for a dry hop, roughly sitting for about 5 days. I also have my usual additions for almost every beer that I make, and that is yeast nutrients at 10 minutes and a little bit of Whirlflock at 2 minutes. At the end of that 50-minute initial mash, I increase the temperature to 168 degrees and do a 10-minute mash out before I lift the malt pipe out and begin that sparge with that 1 gallon of 170-degree water. I let that sparge water drain through that grain bed, and I put the Foundry into boil mode. After that 60-minute boil, I kill the power and begin to chill the wort down to my pitching temperature target of below 64 degrees. And I actually chill so fast that I pass it, and then I transfer the wort into the fermenter. And now for that final ingredient that I'm trying for the first time in this beer, and that's the yeast. And this time I will be trying, or I should say for the first time, both. This time, for the first time, I will be trying the Cosmic Punch strain from Omega Labs yeast. And again, with some real specifics that I'm looking for, I had to make some notes to share why I'm using this yeast and what I'm looking for. And according to their website, this strain was developed from their hazy British 5 ale yeast, but it brings a bigger citrus and fruit flavor and aroma punch, as it were, to the beer. And that's something I'm really eager to see how it's going to work with these also very citrus and sweet fruit forward hops with the HBC-586. Now, I know in a kind of test experimental brew like this, using something so specific in the flavor and aroma of the hops, along with something that's adding equally specific fruit and citrus flavors in the yeast, I might not get a clear picture of what one is doing over the other, but that's okay. That's what I want in this beer. I want to see what these two things do together, and I want a beer that these two things sound like they're going to make to have on hand to drink. I am trying to learn what each of these do, but I'm not doing it so clinically that I'm going to isolate one or the other. I just want to make a beer that I'm really excited to drink and excited to share, and I think these two things are going to give me that. That's more what this brew is about. Fermentation took off very quickly with this yeast, and I needed a blow-off tube. Just a suggestion to let anyone know if they try this yeast. It's a very fast, a very aggressive yeast. After a full week, it was slowing down enough for me to add the dry hops for 4 days. Then I cold crashed it for 48 hours, kegged it, and carbonated it with the Blickman Quick Carb. And now I've got it ready to taste. I am ready to taste this, and I am super excited. It's a little hazy, which is exactly what I wanted it to be with the yeast and the hops. And I took the condensation off to give it a better view of it, but it is a touch hazy. It's not so hazy that you can't see through it at all. Lovely color. I would have kind of expected it to be a little lighter. I didn't put all that much caramel in it, but I like the color well enough. Head retention has been absolutely amazing. I did take a minute to film the pour and do a glamour shot of it, and I just topped it off. Like, it was a quick little pull of the keg just to top it off, and that head, as I was getting the camera and the mics fired up again, has just sat here, like, doing nothing but looking amazing. Very fluffy, very moussey. That's a word that pops up a lot on score sheets, and maybe not mine, but I've seen them on other example score sheets. This one would probably warrant that description. So let's start with the aroma here. Huge natural orange off of it. That kind of smell that you only get from like cutting open an orange and cutting through the fruit and getting that sweet, tangy citrus smell. It's a very natural smelling orange, not quite as a little bit more sour like an orange juice would bring. It's more towards the sweet, but not candy sweet. It's right there at that natural aroma. Do get a little kind of, I'm going to say grassy, but not in a bad way. That's probably the herbal characteristic, maybe even the spicy that the description talks about. But I do get a little bit of it on the finish. And I'm getting just a hint of that malt base, which is mostly got to be coming from the pale malt, because that is, I don't even know what the percentage is. I'm sure it's really close to 80-90% of it. But just phenomenal citrus smell. I'm not getting much else out of the orange. I know it says sweet fruits, but I do love that orange smell, so I'm not complaining. I'm way too giddy to taste this, so here we go. It tastes a lot like it smells, like a lot. There's a lot of orange. There's more of that earthy herbal, again, towards the grassy, towards a little bit of the hay, and I think maybe there's the malts are playing with that herbal bit and making kind of a hay, but not in a bad way. I'm saying grassy in a positive way. I've used grassy to describe some beers I've made in a bad way, like they've sat on way too many hops for way too long. It's not quite that. It's more of a subtle accompaniment to the very, very strong citrus orange, and maybe a little bit. Maybe I'm getting this little sweet fruit now because there's something I haven't put my finger on yet. Holding it for just a second, I am getting something more. Not orange, not straight malt, but I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's in the fruit world, but I'm not sure what it is. It's not bad. I will say this is very cold. I'd kind of like this to warm up. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock my mic off. I'm going to stop this video and get a little small sampler that I can warm up with my hands. But for you, it'll just be one awkward cut right now. Okay, I'm back. Got this little sample here. I'm warming up, trying to warm up my hands best I can, as quickly as I can on camera. Okay, now I'm getting some more aromas. So let me talk through this just a few more seconds here. And definitely, okay, it's berry. Maybe cherry. Cherry might be a little too far in the description, but there's definitely a berry character coming out now. It's not raspberry because it's not tart. Definitely not blueberry. Might be something along, oh boy, I want to say strawberry is a little too sweet. Blackberry would be too much. It's just a general, I guess it's what makes a berry distinctive from, say, a cherry, a peach, or a stone fruit. It's that character, but not anything specific. That's in the aroma. And I'm definitely getting it in the taste that it's warmed up now. Still very citrus forward, which is, I think, the cooperation of the hop and the yeast, and that little bit of berry just kind of rounds things out nicely. I usually don't like earthy flavors in my IPAs, except maybe a double or triple, which is kind of hard to avoid. But for this, it really works well. That little bit of grassy hay, natural herbal is what it comes down to. Flavor is really nice. This is it's very clean too. This is an extremely easy drinking beer. It came out to about 6%. I didn't follow up on my hydrometer reading, so I did a refractometer drop and then did the calculation, which there's a decent amount of room of error for that. So it's somewhere around 6%. So it's fairly easy to, it's a little more than sessionable, but you can have more than one. Tastes great and very clean. And this hop and this yeast together So far, a winning combination, and I probably will need to do something a little more clinical, like the word I used before, to figure out which one is doing what to this beer. But I am very happy with this. I set out to make a hop-forward beer that I'd like to drink, and I am liking to drink this, and I will continue to. And this is one I'm really looking forward to sharing with people to see what their opinion is on it. So I think I've said all I can say about this and more. So I'm going to wrap up. I got some more videos to come. And I always say in these videos, I have some more ideas to try, but I'm a little further along in making those ideas a reality than I have been in the past. So hopefully those will come to fruition. It's been a while since I've been in front of a camera. It's taken a little bit of an adjustment in this video, but I know I have a couple more beers to do, and they should be easier and more fun beers to talk about to come in front of the camera as we go. So I've rambled on long enough. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in that next episode.